Well, the one big issue that could change the narrative of the 2019 general election will be farmer distress. Yesterday on Gandhi Jayanti, the images of protesting farmers being beaten and stopped from entering Delhi created front page news. In a country where loan defaulters have got away with incredible impunity comes the story of a farmer from Haryana who died in jail on Tuesday. He was arrested about 10 days ago because his check had bounced and he could not repay a loan. Doctors say that the farmer may have died of a heart attack and the post-mortem report is awaited. Ranbir Singh was sentenced to 2 years in jail by a local court in Haryana's Bhiwani after he wasn't able to pay back a farm loan worth just about 9.8 lakh rupees. And in the middle of all of this, the government today announced a hike in minimum support prices, one of the key demands of farmers for Rabi crops. The question is whether that would go far enough and whether the government is losing the perception battle, at least when it comes to the issue of rural distress. Joining us tonight, Dr. Pranab Sen, the former chairman of the National Statistical Commission. We have Avik Saha of the Swaraj India. Here, Jaiveer Shegil of the Congress Party. We have Anil Jha from the BJP and Sunil Alag, who's an independent business consultant and political commentator, also joining us this evening. Dr. Sen, to you first. Should we be looking at these farmer protests, as some have, purely through the prism of them being political protests because they originated this time in Western UP and moved on to Delhi? Or is there something much deeper that is happening here that the government needs to wake up to?
No, it's clearly much deeper because it certainly didn't originate in West UP. I mean, we keep forgetting the Maharashtra march, which again captured national headlines. There is genuine rural distress, and we should make no bones about it, accept it, and then ask the question why it's happening. If we don't, we are really going down a slippery slope.
And if you had to identify the three key reasons where we're failing our farmers, what would those be?
Well, I don't, in fact, have to identify three key reasons. I have to identify only one. We have now a completely bizarre narrative which seems to be gaining currency, or at least is being made to gain currency, which says that India is today a food surplus country. The tragedy is that most of our people are still living on diets which are below the minimum dietary requirements. So the issue is not whether we are producing too much food. The issue really is whether people who need the food can afford it. We've simply turned the question on its head and saying that the food production is excessive, which then leaves you with one of only two choices. Either tell the farmers, sorry, cut back on your production, take your income loss and live with it. Or you export it in a global market which is not conducive to profitable exports of food products.
So you're saying that is the bottom line, but do you also feel, Dr. Sen, that somewhere the whole approach to dealing with rural distress is, it perhaps lacks some humanity somewhere? When, for instance, we read about this farmer who died in Haryana yesterday, thrown into jail because he couldn't repay just about 9.8 lakhs in the farm loan that he had taken. And then you see the likes of Malia, Nirav Modi and everybody else running away from the country, owing thousands of crores, or other willful defaulters. Is there a certain compassion that we are lacking when we are dealing with these issues?
Compassion is of the essence, really. You know, the fact of the matter is that the Indian farmer, or farmers anywhere in the world for that matter, but Indian farmers in particular, are possibly the most entrepreneurial people in the country, much more so than the Vijay Mallya's. They are taking risks that no industrialist ever takes. They are going from year to year depending on trying to predict what the weather is going to be, what will crop prices be. It's an extremely complex set of decisions. The point is, we don't recognize this for what it is. We don't recognize the level of risks that they run. We have tried to de-risk it to some extent through various insurance programs, but at the end of the day, when none of that works, the only thing that we have left is compassion.
Well, pretty strong words there. I want to ask Avik Saha of Swaraj India that what did you think then of the announcement by the government today to hike the minimum support prices for Rabi crops? Amrinder Singh has just issued a statement criticizing it, saying it's not enough, it's a cruel joke on farmers. Is that how you see it as well?
I don't agree with Captain Amrinder whether it's enough or not enough. The fact of the matter is, any MSP is announced just for the optics. Farmers in the country are not getting MSP, have not been getting MSP, and the farmers' protest is not something that has been born in the last 12 months. The farmers have been trying to engage in dialogue with this government and have failed. Being an election year, now you are seeing it on television and there's a lot of discussion about it. So increase in MSP is and continues to be a mirage that farmers have been seeing for a long time. No farmer, even today, the Kharif crop that was tom-tommed to be historic and at 50% of the cost, which of course is not true, even that they are not getting. In Bajra they are not getting it, in Urad they are not getting it. So what's the use of an announcement which is not implemented anyway?
So Sunil Alak, would you agree that there is a narrative that the government is losing here when it comes to the issue of farmers? Would you say that it needs to get a grip on that very quickly?
No. You know, I've been listening to both of them. The professor said something about compassion. Definitely, we all have to be a little more compassionate about what is happening to the poor in India. It's a given. I mean, let's not discuss that. The question is to say, what exactly can a government do? Now, this problem about farmer suicides have been happening all over India for the last 10 years, 15 years. It's just that today it's getting highlighted a lot more than it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So unless you pull everybody from the poor into the middle income group, no way is this going to go away. And that is all that is a given. What do you want the government to do? That's the question, that how much of money can you have? What can you do in a matter of 2 to 3 years becomes the question. Let's put reality in. Whether he's saying MSP, minimum sales price, the minimum price they're not getting, I'm complete disagreement with that, because they are getting it. So if there is a minimum support price at the government and they are raising it, the question is, let all the TV crew get down to the markets and find out where they're not getting it, because that has to be highlighted to the government. What is the point of giving something and then not getting it is a question. Today, you can mislead all your viewers by making a statement that they're not getting it.
But
let's go out into the market and show that they're not getting it.
Sure.
The question
Sunil,
for me...
but the point is, then why are farmers on the streets?
I will just say one thing. One second. All I can say is that, look, the farmers have to get onto the streets to get their point across. Now, the fact is that the minimum support price has been increased, and the fact that their health is being taken care of by the Modi Care stuff, the fact that electricity has got to be given. How many things do you expect a government to do in one shot? You can take one isolated case of a Dr. Malia or Nirav Modi and then paint all industrialists with the same brush. Something happening to one farmer and you can say all farmers are being, whoever's got a loan. Now, is it really reality? Right now, yes, I agree with everyone.
He was thrown
we have to do something.
No, don't say Nidhi,
come on.
Lakhs.
Please, are you saying,
no,
one second.
Who are enjoying life? I mean, you do see the irony in that, how unfair that is. That's cool.
Name them then, name them. I will name, one second, I will just say, of course, there are, in a case of 1.35 billion people, there will be exceptions. I agree with you, and you can pull out all the exceptional cases. We are all for the farmers. They have to be supported. But how much do you want the government to do right now?
Okay, so
that's the question.
Okay, let me take that point to Javeed.
Can
Sunil Alak saying that the government is doing whatever it can. It's not possible for it to do more. Okay, from Modi Care to everything else.
There's a famous saying you
but
can...
we all agree.
Let the Congress answer that.
I'm not saying that the farm... Yeah.
There's a famous saying, you can cut all the flowers, but you cannot prevent the spring from coming. Yesterday's protests reflect increasing rural distress, which the BJP cannot manage by window dressing exercises. Let me take you head on what the government can do or cannot do. First, BJP behaved like a colonial British government, taxing the agricultural sector of the country for the first time in the history of independent India. What government can do? BJP should roll back the 18% GST on agriculture equipment. BJP should roll back the 5% GST tax on pesticide. BJP should roll back the tax on insecticide. BJP should roll back the increased diesel fuel prices. BJP needs to reverse its anti-farmer policy decision because they are systematically working towards a Kisan Mukt Bharat. I have the PIB release in front of me, 2017, 21.6% is the reduction in sowing area of Kharif crop alone is concerned. 30% is the reduction in sowing area of cotton is concerned. You are asking me what the government should? Is it a coincidence? Whenever a farmer raises a voice, BJP responds in violence? No, they are not exceptions. The 6 farmers who were killed in Mandsaur are not exceptions. The sea of anger which you saw in Maharashtra is not an exception. What you saw in Tamil Nadu, farmer protesting in Delhi, is not an exception. Have you forgotten? 3 lakh farmers on 20th November 2017, representing 184 farmer organizations, stormed Delhi. Same weasel words were given, MSP. Maybe Mr. Alag, you are not a farmer, you realize the MSP announcement made by the BJP today will be implemented in 2019 when the BJP government may or may not be there. According to me, it will not be there. And you have not read the CACP report, the government body report.
Can I?
Let me complete. Minus 590 rupees is the difference in paddy alone which you have announced. Minus 650 is the difference between ragi you have allowed. And in Moong, minus 2,268. On Namo app on 29 June, Mr. Modi wrote himself that Swaminathan Commission report C2 plus 50% will be given. As usual, BJP is the government hollow announcements.
You're saying false promises. So let me ask Anil Jha of the BJP.
This is what the government should
about
do.
The political impact of this. Anil Jha, you are a politician. And politically, what is your honest assessment today? Does the BJP needs to regain control of the narrative on this issue?
नहीं, इस मामले में हम लोग बिल्कुल
Anil to come in because he's speaking. First comment, I'll come back to you.
इस मामले में मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि भारत की विविधता को हमको समझना पड़ेगा। इतना विशाल देश है, यहाँ पर हर क्षेत्र की अपनी अपनी समस्याएं हैं, लेकिन हमारी जो सरकार है, हमारी जो अभी की सरकार है, वो किसान मित्र सरकार है, किसान के लिए सरकार है, किसान के युक्त के लिए सरकार है। अधिकतर भारत में एक मिनट, मैं जेवीर जी ने जो आंकड़े दिए हैं, मुझे नहीं पता ये आंकड़े किस प्रकार के हैं, लेकिन ये समझना पड़ेगा 2002 से 2014 के बीच में जब इनकी सरकार थी, 2,34,000 किसानों ने यहां पर खुदकुशी की थी। प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह थे, एक बार भी किसानों के साथ बैठ करके उन्होंने कोई चर्चा नहीं करी। यहां तक कि यह जानकारी थी हमारे पास, प्रधानमंत्री के पास रबी और खरीफ की फसल किस प्रकार से कब किस महीने में उगाई जाती है उसके बारे में जानकारियां नहीं थी। दूसरी बात ये, हमने किसान लीडर्स से बातचीत कर रहे हैं, डायलॉग्स के लिए तैयार हैं, लेकिन वो बात करके जाते हैं, जब अपने पॉइंट्स पर जाते हैं तो वहां जाकर के रिवर्स होते हैं। दूसरी बात, एक घटना को लेकर के आप जब बार बार चर्चा करते हैं तो मैं ये समझता हूं कि आप जो अरहर की मामले में, गन्ने के मामले में, या जो आंकड़े जयवीर जी ने दिए हैं, मेरा मानना है कि 17% इंक्रीज हुआ है। हमने उत्पादन को बढ़ाया है और वो उत्पादन भारत के गरीब लोगों तक पहुंचाने का काम हम कर रहे हैं। लेकिन आपकी एक यहां पर जो घटना हुई है, मैं ये भी समझता हूं चुनाव का आखिरी वर्ष है, चुनाव के आखिरी वर्ष में इस प्रकार की घटनाएं हो रही हैं या करवाई जा रही हैं, इसके अंदर कुछ लोग शामिल हैं। हम किसानों की अगर कोई दर्द है उसके साथ शामिल है। दूसरी बात ये, स्वामीनाथन कमेटी की रिपोर्ट 2004 में फॉर्म हुआ था, 2006 में इसको रिपोर्ट आ गया था, तो 2014 तक लागू क्यों नहीं हुआ? 8 वर्ष क्यों वेट किया गया?
सही कह रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूं कि जो आज आप देख रहे हैं, जो किसान प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं, जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं, और मैंने अभी ये आज का आंदोलन नहीं है, ये पहले भी हो चुका है और अलग अलग राज्यों में हो चुका है, तो क्या आप कह रहे हैं कि ये सभी इट्स ऑल पॉलिटिकली ड्रिवन?
नो, मैं ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं कह रहा हूं। मैं ये कह रहा हूं कहीं कहीं पर क्षेत्रीय समस्याओं को लेकर के किसानों का अगर दर्द है, मुझसे खिलाफ नहीं है। 4 वर्ष के अंदर आप, हमारे पास भी ऐसा बिल्कुल कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि किसानों की सारी समस्याओं को जड़ से खत्म कर देंगे। रही बात एग्रीकल्चर इक्विपमेंट्स को लेकर के, जो जीएसटी का मामला है उसको हमने स्वीकार किया है। 60 वर्ष के बाद किसानों को पेंशन दी जाए तो भारत के अंदर बहुत सारे राज्यों में अपनी पेंशन की योजनाएं हैं। लेकिन एक बात बता दीजिए, पंजाब में इनकी गवर्नमेंट है, क्या ये किसानों के सारे कर्जों को माफ कर सकते हैं? कर्नाटक में इनकी गवर्नमेंट है कोalition की, क्या ये किसानों के सारे कर्जों को माफ कर सकते हैं? और मैं माफी चाहता हूं निधि जी, नीरव मोदी वाले मामले को एक किसान से जोड़ लेना मुझे लगता है ये न्याय संगत नहीं है।
लोन रीपेमेंट तो दोनों ने नहीं करी ना,
ऐसा नहीं है।
एक तो बाहर लंदन में ऐश कर रहा है और एक की मौत हो गई।
नहीं हुआ है, हम उस किसान के परिवार के साथ हैं, कोई ऐसा एक्ट नहीं किया गया कि गैर कानूनी एक्ट हुआ हो। लेकिन अगर उसके हार्ट अटैक से डेथ हुआ है, हम उसके साथ हैं,
वो
उसके
जेल
परिवार के
गया
साथ
है,
हैं।
वो जेल गया।
जेल में बिल्कुल मैडम, देखिए,
जेल भेजा गया
कानून
उसको।
ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हरियाणा की सरकार ने कानून
लेकिन
सम्मत काम नहीं किया होगा।
कॉन्ट्रास्ट इसलिए है कि जिन लोगों ने इतने 1000 करोड़
वो
डिफॉल्ट
भी
किया
पकड़े
है,
जाएंगे। उसका निर्माण
कब
हमारी
पकड़े
सरकारों में
जाएंगे?
नहीं हुआ है, नीरव मोदी हमने नहीं पैदा किया, जयवीर जी ने लोगों ने बनाया है उसको। हम तो पकड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं
Jaiveer,
उसको।
quick response to what he's saying. Is there some truth in this, that there are huge problems in the agriculture sector? Why wasn't A, the Swaminathan report implemented all this time? I've asked this question many times before as well. And B, can you expect things to be resolved in a few years?
No, Nidhi, firstly, according to stats, BJP has taken the farmer back by at least 20 years. Mr. Anil should see his own government's affidavit in the Supreme Court. I have it with me. 44% is the rise in farmer suicides. Wheat used to have an import duty of 25%. They put it to 0%. You've asked perceptionally. It should happen. Perceptionally, BJP is showering notes on crony capitalists and showering lathis on farmers. Where was these lathis when Malya was meeting Jaitley? Where was the lathi when Nirav Modi was getting cleared by Prime Minister? Every time a farmer has to raise a voice, there is violence. Why is there red blood on the soil when a farmer has to rise? Now you talked about the report. Why did Mr. Rajnath Singh in Pathankot in the rally said, I will implement C2 plus 50%? Diesel prices, Nidhi, you do a show every day. 12 to 14 rupees is the per litre price. This is there in their hand. During Karnataka elections, they put a lid on diesel prices. They can do it now. Why can't they take out the agricultural equipment out? Anil ji, कौन सी सरकार ने, गोरों की सरकार लगान लगाती थी, भाजपा की सरकार ने पहली बार जजिया लगाया है किसानों पे 18% ट्रैक्टर पे। सुना है कभी आपने?
जयवीर जी, जजिया का अर्थ समझिए, आप इतिहास को अगर समझते हो तो जजिया कर को आप समझिए। जजिया कर का समर्थक कौन था? अगर इस पे डिबेट हो जाएगी तो बहुत कुछ उतर जाएगा।
तो आप वापस
सवाल ये है, देखिए सवाल ये ना,
झूठा साबित कीजिए, वापस ले लीजिए।
डीजल पर भी डिबेट नहीं है। पाकिस्तान में 50 रुपए लीटर पेट्रोल है।
किसान मेरे भाई ट्रैक्टर डीजल पे डाल के चलाता है, पकौड़े डाल के नहीं चलाता किसान।
हम म्यांमार नहीं बनाना चाहते जहां पर 40 रुपए लीटर भी पेट्रोल है। आप समझिए, आपकी सरकारें थी तो किस प्रकार की पेट्रोल हाइक का मामला था वो आप भी अच्छी तरह जानते हैं। दूसरी बात है, पेट्रोल हाइक के ऊपर डिबेट होगी, उस पर करेंगे।
सरकार तो वो बदलने के लिए आई थी ना, इसीलिए तो वोट किया था लोगों ने।
मैं आपको गारंटी से बड़े कॉन्फिडेंस से कह रहा हूं, मैं बीजेपी का लीडर होने के नाते, भारत के अंदर अधिकतर राज्यों में किसानों की स्थिति को हमने सुधारा है, उसमें और ज्यादा प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
तो आत्महत्या क्यों बढ़ी?
आत्महत्या आपकी वजह से हुई। आपके
तो आपने तो एफिडेविट और कुछ दिया हुआ है, आप वकील नहीं है, मैं आपको जिम्मेदारी से बता रहा हूं। सरकार ने कहा है 44 बढ़ गए मेरे
आपकी गवर्नमेंट में। जयवीर जी, आपकी गवर्नमेंट 2002 से 2014 के बीच 3.25 लाख लोगों ने आत्महत्या की थी। आपकी सरकार थी वहां पर।
अवीक साहा, that do you see that in this political fight that is going on, जो अभी भी स्टूडियो में चल रहा है, but it will happen on the campaign trail as well. I mean, do you think this is the issue that could make or break the election?
Nidhi, this is a political issue, and I'm happy to see that the BJP and the Congress spokesperson are fighting among themselves. The farmers have been demanding price. Neither the Congress nor the BJP have been giving them the price. And for Professor Alag, I want to point out, I never said that the government should procure all crops at MSP. All I said was, when you declare an MSP as a government, it's your duty to ensure that it's implemented. There is no mandi level implementation. And I agree with him that Nidhi, you should take your cameras to the mandis all over the country, anywhere you want, and you'll see it's not being implemented. So political issue it is. The farmers have every right to raise this issue in an election year and to make political capital out of this. I don't think the farmers have any other option. They've tried for 5 years to talk, to hold dialogue, to negotiate. This government has never spoken to farmers. It's only now, and surprisingly, in 24 hours the government meets demands. I don't know what those demands are, but the two core demands of freedom from debt and not just MSP, ensuring that they get MSP, are the demands that remain still open.
Right. I think
and
it's time
this
for us to do a
announcement
reality
of
check.
the Rabi prices are useless.
I think it's time for us to do a reality check ourselves and see how this is working out on the ground. I'm out of time today. I think this does deserve a longer debate. Thank you to all of you for joining us.
Can I just
and
have
we
one
hope,
line in
we hope, I'm out of time, Sunil, but we do hope this remains a central election issue far more than any Kabristan or Shamshan. See you tomorrow.